To some people, spring is the smell of fresh cut grass. For others, it's the days finally getting longer. Or it's pulling the winter clothes out of the closet and putting them away. Yet for others, it's the first warm breeze that sneaks through a window you forgot was open. But for me, spring was always about baseball. My love for the game began in 1955. The place was Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, New York, where the Dodgers used to play. I was 6 years old the first time my father took me to a game. We entered the stadium through the tunnel, and suddenly the whole stadium opened up in front of me. I grabbed my father's hand and I said, "Dad, it's in color." Because it was. I'd only ever seen baseball on our little black and white television. You know, that giant console with a little screen that was so small you needed binoculars to watch it from the couch. And I thought that's what the world looked like when you watched the game. It was this green, that impossible, perfect green grass and the brown dirt and the white lines and the uniform so bright they almost hurt. I must have stood there with my mouth open for a full minute. My father laughed and said, "Come on, let's find our seats." That was the year the Dodgers finally won the World Series. Now you have to understand what that meant to us Brooklynites. The Brooklyn Dodgers had never won a World Series. They lost 7 times. 5 of those losses were to the Yankees, our hated neighbors across the river who won everything, always. They called us them bums. Every year ended the same way, and every year Dodger fans said the same thing. Wait till next year. It was less a motto and more of a diagnosis. And then, next year came. October 4th, 1955, Johnny Padres shut out the Yankees 2-0 in Game 7, and Brooklyn lost its mind. There were block parties and celebrations that went through the night and into the morning. People were dancing in the streets, blowing horns, decorating their cars. The Daily News ran a picture of the old Brooklyn bum, and the headline said, "Who's the bum?" I was 6. I didn't understand all of that yet. But I understood the sound of my neighborhood when it happened. I understood unbridled joy. And then, it was the voice. Vin Scully. If you never heard him, imagine a warm baritone that never shouted. A voice with the easy cadence of a favorite uncle who could hold an entire room's attention without ever raising it. He had a poet's instinct for when to talk, and maybe more importantly, when to stop talking and let you listen to the game. If you grew up in my world, you know what I mean when I say that voice meant everything was in its right place. That voice was home. That voice told you that the world was turning the way it should. Every year when I heard it for the first time, coming out of a transistor radio on a kitchen counter, or dripping from a car window on a spring evening, something inside me unclenched. Something that had been wound tight all winter just let go. Because if Vin Scully was talking, it meant the games were back. And if the games were back, then all was right with the world. His voice didn't just announce baseball. When you heard him say, "It's time for Dodger baseball," you knew everything was going to be okay. Now, keeping with tonight's celebration of Irish spring, I should then mention that both the men who owned the Dodgers, Walter O'Malley and the voice who brought them into our homes, Vin Scully, were both Irish Americans. So technically that qualifies. Now more about my father. He worked a lot. He was gone early, home late, and frequently weekends too. That was the deal back then. He didn't complain. He didn't ask for more. But I wanted more. I wanted him. And the way I got him, the way I really got him, was playing catch with a baseball. When he'd come into the backyard with his glove, he was mine. That half hour, 45 minutes, that was everything. Just the sound of the ball hitting leather back and forth, the sky turning gold and then turning dark. He didn't say much. He didn't need to. He was there. That was the whole thing. When I started Little League, he came to games when he could. And the day I got my first hit, a real hit, not a walk, not an error, a line drive that went right where I aimed it. I looked over at the fence and there he was. He had both hands on the chain link and he was grinning like he won something. His grin remained there when I tried to turn the single into a double and was thrown out at second base. I think he appreciated the extra effort. My coach didn't. My father died on a spring day, a few months after my 13th birthday. I don't have a lot of memories about my father, but most of the ones I do have revolved around baseball. After he died, I still played. I played every season. But I look over at the fence at those bleachers, and there was a space where he should have been. You don't stop looking. That's the thing nobody tells you. Years go by, and you still glance over. But that's what baseball does. Baseball keeps going. The season always comes back around in the spring, and life, if you're lucky, finds a way to fill those seats again. When I got older, I took my daughters to the game. Chavez Ravine now, not Evans Field. Different stadium, different coast, different lifetime. But the green was the same green. The brown was the same brown. And I tried the peanuts, and I tried to explain the infield fly rule, and they'd look at me like I was speaking another language. And it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And then came the grandchildren. I'll never forget our first day as a family. The looks on their faces reminded me of the first big game I went to at Evans Field. The feeling hasn't changed for me. Now, I should probably tell you, and I'm not a calm fan. I want to be. I picture myself as this wise, peaceful grandfather, enjoying the beauty of the game and appreciating the geometry of the double play. That's not what happens. What happens is I'm on the edge of the couch yelling at a television like it can hear me. The last World Series nearly finished me off. My wife was generally concerned. I sensed that she would have considered divorce if the series lasted more than 7 games. But this is the thing about caring. You can't do it halfway. My father couldn't. I can't. And when it's spring, when the days start getting longer and someone mentions pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training, all of it comes back. The green and brown of the field the first time, the sound of the ball in the glove in the backyard at dusk, a voice on the radio saying a name I already know by heart. I guess what I'm saying is this. For me, spring isn't a season. It's a feeling. It's my father's hand around mine, walking me into the multicolored stadium. It's the understanding that some things end and some things come back. And the ones that come back are worth every minute of the wait. Thank you.